Hare Krishna, Nirmala Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Please accept my obeisances. All Guru Shishilupad Guru Maharaj ki jai.
Jai. So we'll wait for some more time. People can join. It's just 6:30 started now. So Prabhu, your kids can do kirtan after chanting? They're available?
Yeah, Prabhuji. We are ready.
Yes, so we'll do chanting first. Once another 3-4 minutes, we'll start chanting.
Yeah,
And then
Prabhuji.
we'll do kirtan, and then we'll start our discussion.
Yeah, Prabhuji.
Brinda?
Yeah,
I can't see you.
I know because I have my video off.
Why? I can't see Mukund also. So is this course going on good, or it is too much delay? Because we had a 1 week gap in between. So do you remember all that we learned 2 weeks before? Tarun, what did we learn? Huh? Mukunda Prabhu.
I know that I don't know.
That's a good answer. Yes. Brinda?
My answer is the same as Tarun's.
Okay, so it's 3 minutes past 6:30. We'll start our chanting. Let people join. Okay. Hare Krishna, Vishwambar Gauranga Prabhu, Dandavad Pranam, all Gauri Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandat Pranam, all goes to Srila Prabhupada.
So let's start our chanting. One round.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Ashok Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Murli Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Sojani Mataji. Hare Krishna,
I was just going through the notes. 2 weeks, it's been 2 weeks, right? So I was like, well, again, Prabhuji will ask, what were we talking? So it's better I refer to the notes. So I was just referring, Prabhuji.
Yeah,
as
we will go through that, refreshing our memory. We'll see. So let's start chanting. We already passed 4 minutes, so let's start chanting one round.
Sure, Prabhuji.
जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्री गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे राम हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे राम हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे राम हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्णा राम हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे राम हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे राम हरे हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे राम हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे राम
Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare
कृष्णा
Krishna,
हरे
Hare
राम
Ram, Hare
हरे
Ram,
हरे
Ram Ram, Hare
हरे
Hare, Hare Krishna,
कृष्णा
Hare
कृष्णा
Krishna,
हरे राम हरे हरे
Ram Ram,
हरे
Hare
कृष्णा
Krishna.
कृष्णा हरे राम हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे राम हरे 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 कृष्णा हरे राम हरे 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 कृष्णा हरे राम हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे राम हरे 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 कृष्णा हरे राम हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 कृष्णा हरे राम हरे 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 कृष्णा हरे राम हरे 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 कृष्णा हरे राम हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्णा राम हरे 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 कृष्णा हरे 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 राम हरे 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 राम हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे राम हरे राम हरे 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 कृष्णा हरे राम हरे राम हरे हरे Hare Krishna, Hare
Jai
Krishna,
Shri
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna, Hare
Chaitanya
Hare,
Prabhu
Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare
Nityananda
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। महामंत्र की जय। Hare Krishna everyone. Thank you for joining this Zoom session of Wisdom series on Bhagavad Gita as it is. So last week we had a break. We had session from Adi Gadadhar Prabhu. So we'll continue today. So we'll discuss on verse second verse on chapter first, second verse. So let's have about 5 to 8 minutes of Kirtan before that. So please participate. You can unmute and then participate in the Kirtan. Yes, Prabhu, Mukunda Prabhu and Mataji.
Yeah, Prabhuji, we will start.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare Krishna.
हरिनाम संकीर्तन की
Jai.
उपाधि की जय।
Jai.
Hare Krishna, Nikhil Prabhu. Thank you for joining. So let's begin our discussion. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Om Namo
Vasudevaya.
Narayanam Namaskritya
Narayanam
Naram Chaiva Narottamam
Nadam Chaiva Narottamam.
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam
Saraswatyam.
Tato Jayamudiraye. Om Ajnanatimmirandasya Chaturunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Svayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dati Swapadantikam. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Gopinata Radhakanta Namostute Sapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavani Vrishabhanusute Devi Nami Haripriya Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Krupa Sindhubhya
Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo.
Namo Om Vishnu Padaya
Krishna
Krishaya Bhutale Dimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namini Namaste
Namaste Saraswate Devi
Gauravani
Gauravani
Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Gauravani Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Mukam karoti vachalam Langayate girim
Pangum Langate
Krupatamaham vande
Kripatamaham Vande
Shri Gurun Dinataranam. So thank you very much for giving me opportunity to discuss about Bhagavad Gita. So it will be an interactive session. It's been a while. There was a gap last week. So I'm not sure how much we can recall. So we'll just take 5 to 10 minutes to recall whatever we discussed before and see how much we can remember. Is that okay?
Yes,
Sure, Prabhuji.
Are you ready for the questions?
Yeah.
Good. So yes. So the prayer, whatever we did right now, I'll just put 2 points and then we'll get into the recap. Okay. This is all what I have heard from other senior people. Okay. I have read somewhere and heard from other authorities also. So when we pray, the initial obeisances what we make, right? Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we chant 3 times. Do anyone know why those 3 times? What is the significance of 3 times only? Why? Anyone? Please unmute your phone for some time until we finish this recap.
No, Prabhu, I don't know.
I am guessing to acknowledge what we are saying. For example, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, if we say 3 times, we are acknowledging same way, Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Okay, why 3 times?
Lot of prayers we do 3 times, but I don't.
I think Tarun raised his hand. Tarun, what is that?
It is Adi Atmik, Adi Bhautik, Adi Devik.
A great answer. So we are all bound to these Adi Bhautik, Adi Daivik, Adhyatmic problems, right? So each mantra, whenever we say, so that is corresponding to one, to get rid of Adi Bhautik, to get rid of Adhyatmic and Adi Daivik. So 3 times. So that we are away from these problems and we can follow spirituality with no hindrances. So that we can go back to Godhead. So the same thing is followed actually in this mundane world also. Wherever you take, whenever, even in the sports, any kind of sports you take, they say 1, 2, 3, right? Or on the countdown, 3, 2, 1. So why this 3, 2, 1 or 1, 2, 3 came up? They are just following these things without any knowledge. Okay. So that is one reason. Okay, so let's get into the recap. Saujanya Mataji, do you want to recap what we learned? Two weeks back. Saujanya Mataji is there?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes.
Yeah. Based on what I remember, Prabhuji, you started off saying like why we need Bhagavad Gita, and then you said like life becomes hell without control of mind, and you gave 2 examples of Duryodhana and Ravana. They have everything, but they didn't have control over the mind. And then next you said who can control mind, because, and then you gave a sentence, mind becomes a friend, but at the same time if we don't have control, mind becomes an enemy. And I think you quoted Bhagavad Gita chapter 6 and 6th verse as an example. And whereas Yudhishthira, he had 10 senses, he has control over 10 senses. So even biologically also, you mentioned on an average 32,000 thoughts per day a person he gets in his mind. So of all this, only Bhagavad Gita teaches us how to control over mind. There's like a lot of other scriptures, but it's mainly in Bhagavad Gita, it's mainly emphasized how to control mind. And also you mentioned about you may have everything but no control over the mind, then all that knowledge, whatever we have, is just a waste. And then but most of the rest of the scriptures, they may not teach how to have control over mind, but Bhagavad Gita mainly teaches us how to have control over mind. That's one thing. And then you also said about I'm just trying to recap, Prabhuji.
That is wonderful, Mataji. So you have a lot of memory. We have to.
No, Prabhuji, I wrote down, Prabhuji. I wrote down, and just before the session, I thought, it's been 2 weeks. There's so much we hear, and suddenly if someone asks, it's difficult to remember. So I just started writing down. And then you gave us other example, like what Chanakya said, and 2 other shlokas. But overall, and then, yes, Prabhuji, now I remember the Sangha association, like morning, afternoon, night. Morning is Pratah Kala Bhagavad Gita, afternoon is Ramayana, and night is like the chore, like Makhan chore. It's about Krishna, Srimad Bhagavatam. And then also morning is like mode of goodness, afternoon is mode of passion, and night is mode of ignorance. And also you said like why we need mandir, because like mind. Um, gave that, and you also told us like we have so many hospitals, a lot of other charitable institutions, but just like how we need every profession, accountant and doctor, scientist and engineer, like that we also need spiritualists. And Radhanath Maharaj said otherwise we won't have balance, and that's why we also need to know about the scriptures and have a spiritualist who can preach us, and which all will help us while we have all this knowledge, how we can have control over the mind. And then also said, why not just Hare Krishna mantra? Why do we do a lot of other prayers? Why not just we all chant? Then you told us that while chanting we do many offenses. So though only chanting is sufficient, still we chant other prayers and other mantras to get connected and to get purified. So that's why it's not just only chanting. I think that's major I remember, Prabhuji.
That's wonderful, Mataji. Thank you very much. Refreshing.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Anybody else? Ram Prabhu?
Yeah, Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. So, Prabhuji, in the last class, last to last class, before Adhikadada Das Prabhu, so we were doing like why we read the Bhagavad Gita, as Mataji already told. So like there are 64,000 scriptures, like so why there is so much importance given to the Bhagavad Gita? So because in the Bhagavad Gita, there is, essence of all the scriptures it is given. So kind of essence of all the scriptures. Similarly in the Bhagavatam as well. So in the Kali Yuga, we don't have, we have lack of memory. We have short memory, we have short lives, and we are very, unfortunate. So keeping that in mind, we read that Bhagavad Gita so that we can get the essence of all the scriptures. We do not have time to read all 64,000 of scriptures. And then you were talking about part of like Dhritarashtra as well. I mean, when you were saying that he was fearful about what is happening there in the battlefield of Kurukshetra. So that also you talked earlier. And same time, like Duryodhana and Ravana were having everything but not control of mind. So control of mind derives everything. Mind is the best friend and best enemy as well. So Ravana was having all the opulences, but he was not having peace. Always, that's what he was always fearful. Similar to Duryodhana as well. So that we discussed about. Also, like you quoted saying that Bandhur Atmanastev Tasya Tena Atmanaiva Atmanajitaha Atmanastu Satrute Tatraiva Atmana Satruvat. So Bhagavad Gita 6.6 it is. So how to conquer the mind. So that is the best friend, rather than otherwise it is best, means it is enemy. So you were talking about name significance as well, like Dasratha. You told about Dasratha means Dasratha. I mean, the one who controls the 10 senses, the 5, karmendriya and 5 sense indriya. So those that means the Dasrath Maharaj was having control of those 10 senses. That's what he was named as the Dasratha. So as Mataji also pointed, mind is having 32,000 thoughts in a day, and to control the mind, so if we control the mind, or if we deviate divert the mind in the devotional services, it is all the thoughts will be tending to, means pointing to the Krishna. So to fast the mind by practicing the devotional service, you can fast the mind. And also, like you said, Chanakya Pandit says, Prata Kalena Duta Prasanga, Madhe cha Istri Prasanga, Ratre cha Chaura Prasanga, kala gacchante dhimatam. So morning Bhagavad Gita reading is preferred, and afternoon Ramayana, and night Krishna Katha. You explained very well about that. And so you then discussed about the Brahma Muhurta that starts from 3 a.m. morning to 11 a.m. So that time, if somebody does, to get the very good result, because all the auspicious things happen at that time. So, and that is the mode of goodness, and mode of passion is 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. And then mode of ignorance, where the bhuta pichasa, they do the 7 p.m. to midnight. So like that. So why big opulent temple we create? So as Prabhupada Ji Maharaj also, I remember one of the Prabhupada Ji Maharaj, walk and chant, it was happening. So one of the non-devotee material people asked, why you are creating so much a big temple? What is the need for that? So Prabhupada Ji Maharaj, having a stick in his hand, and there was mud in between, means on the way where he was asking. So Prabhupada Ji Maharaj said, can you sit here and chant? So you cannot sit here and chant, right? So you have to sit and chant in the place where all the circumstances and all the things will be, creating like devotional services and good environment, so that it will be attracting to the deity, and those all things. So proper environment should be there, so that one can properly concentrate and chant. And also, why I had one question but did not ask, why deity required for that? So Prabhupada Ji Maharaj, in the good perfect question, perfect answer, Prabhupada Ji Maharaj answers to Bob. Bob was asking the question, why we need the deity to worship? So he said, like, when we create the deity, and we follow the processes, so deity reside inside it, in the personal form. When we offer, deity eats it. So that's what we keep the deity, and deity form, and we worship that with the process. So deity reside there, and we will get the mercy from the deity. So that's what all I remember, Prabhuji. I mean, remember in the sense I have noted down the bullets, and I have gone from there. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. That's a very detailed description, and
Yeah.
you have noted it very diligently. Very nice. Thank you.
Yeah,
And also, we discussed that all our processes or whatever activities we do, ultimate goal, that means when we die, our death is like 60 to 64,000 scorpions biting at a time. And our objective, as described in Bhagavad Gita itself, that our objective is to remember Krishna, right? At the end of our life. Antakale cha mameva smaran mukta kalevaram. Yaprayati sa madbhava yati nasti atra samshaya. Yeah, so at the end of our life, we have to remember Krishna and go back to Godhead. That is our whole objective, and that is why we follow all these processes, whatever is told to us, right, according to the scriptures. So one might ask this question also, that Prabhuji, at the end of this is actually asked by my friend, one of my friends. So he said, at the end of our life, when we are on deathbed, sometimes people are subconscious, right? They're not conscious also, or some people are very, very painful situation that they can't even think of Krishna. It is very, 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 very difficult, extremely difficult, because we are so bodily conscious. When we are going through so much pain, we cannot remember Krishna. But one good part is that there is a solution for this. Krishna gives the solution. It's not us. So Krishna says, you remember, you practice all these things throughout your life, you remember me, and I will help you to remember me at the time of the death. Okay. If you don't remember, in case because of this bodily discomfort at the time of death, if you don't remember me, don't worry. So I will remember you. He says in wonderful sloka in Padma Puran, he says, Yadi vatadi doshena. You can repeat it. Yadi vatadi doshena.
Yadivatte dosena
Madbhakto mam na chasmare.
madbhakto mam na chasmare
Aham smarami madbhakta.
aham
Aham
asmarami
smarami madbhakta
Nayami paramagatim.
nayami
paramagatim.
He says, Yadi vatadi doshena madbhakto mam nachasmaret aham smarami madbhakta nayami paramagatim. He says, because of this bodily discomfort at the end of your life, at the time of death, it is very difficult to remember Krishna unless you practice this Krishna conscious process very rigorously, very sincerely, seriously, you practice. So it's very difficult to remember. Even if you don't remember, besides practicing all these things throughout your life, as told by your guru and scriptures, if you still can't remember, Krishna gives this incentive. He says that Yadi vatari doshena, because of this bodily discomfort, madbhakta, my devotee, mam nachasmare. He says, if you cannot remember me, nachasmare, my devotee, if you cannot remember me, still, aham smarami madbhakta. He says, I will remember you. So Krishna says, even if you don't remember me, I will remember you. Not only I will remember you, but nayami paramagatim. He says, I will take you back to Godhead. That means back to my abode. So that guarantee Krishna is giving, right? So we are totally secured. Our life is secured, life insured. Yeah. So this is very important, right? Then we discussed about how to control the mind, and you all both explained very nicely how to control mind and how to control the senses. Unless you control the mind, we cannot really control the senses, right? If we cannot control the senses, like in our day-to-day life also, if we don't control our senses, even our material activities we cannot do successfully. Correct? You agreed?
Yeah.
Now, even forget about spiritual activities, even material
Yes,
activities,
Prabhuji.
you cannot control your mind, you cannot control your tongue, you cannot control your ears, you cannot control your eyes, you cannot control your the touch, you cannot even execute your material activities successfully. So, what to speak about spirituality? So, even spiritually, he says, unless you control your mind, which actually controls all the senses, so mind should be controlled by intelligence. We'll read this in one of the chapters in Bhagavad Gita, right? So mind control all these senses, right? Our senses, it is very, very difficult. It is very difficult, So it is very nicely explained in one of the slokas. Let me tell you that sloka. You can repeat it. Kuranga matanga patanga bringa.
Kuranga Matanga.
matanga patanga brinda
Kuranga matanga patanga bringa.
Kuranga matanga patanga bringa
Nahata panchabi reva pancha.
nahata panchabireha pancha
Meena hata panchabi reva pancha.
Meena Hatapi.
reha binda
Yeka pramadisa katam na hanyate.
eka pramada
pramadika katam na hanyate
Yasevate panchabi reva pancha.
Yes,
devate panchabireva pancha.
So this is wonderful sloka which tells you exactly about the senses, right? See, this is why I'm bringing this up, because until we control our senses, we can't do even spirituality. We can't even follow our spiritual process, right? So he says, Kuranga, Matanga, Patanga, Bringa, Meena. So 5 living entities, right? You know what is Kuranga? Kuranga means?
No problem.
Anybody? Okay. Kuranga means deer. In Sanskrit, Kuranga means deer. Matanga?
B, Prabhuji. B.
No.
Prabhuji, did you say Puranga or Kuranga?
Kuranga. Kuranga means deer.
Oh, Puranga. Okay, okay.
Kuranga, Matanga. Matanga means?
Elephant?
Yes. Who said that? Vishambar Gauranga.
Yes.
Yes, wonderful. Kuranga, Matanga. Patanga?
And kite.
Kite, right?
Patanga is kite. Kite means which is flying, right? Kite is flying.
Kite
What
patanga.
flies? What living entity flies?
Bird.
Grasshopper, gris.
Moth.
Moth.
Here it is moth, butterfly. Okay. Moth. Kuranga, Matanga, Patanga, Bringa. Bringa you should be knowing.
Yeah, B.
B. Okay. Kuranga, Matanga, Patanga, Bringa, Meena. What is Meena?
Fish.
Fish. Okay. So these 5 living entities, why they refer these 5 living entities is that each of these living entities, one of their senses, we all have 5 senses, right? We all have 5 senses. So one of their senses is very predominant in each of these living entities. Like for example, this Kuranga. Kuranga is a deer. Deer, it has urges of hearing. You know, it has too much urges of hearing. Okay, deer. It is very sensitive to hear. And Matanga, elephant, it has urges of genital. It is very predominant in Matanga. And Patanga. Patanga means urges of eyes. Moth has urge, too much urge of eyes, seeing. Bringa, bee. So it always goes in search of this honey, right? Honey means smell. It goes through the smell. So it has the smelling is very predominant in Bringa. And Meena, fish. Fish is urge of. You remember we discussed this sloka also, right? Keshavam patitam društva Pandava.
Pandava, yes.
So this, if once the fish sees the dead body, it's so very it is urging for the fish to go and eat, right? So it is this urge for tongue. It is very predominant in Meena, fish. So Kuranga, Matanga, Patanga, Bringa, Meena, Hata, Panchabireva Pancha. These 5 living entities, one of these senses are very, very, very predominant in each of these. Because of this, they go and they get destroyed all by themselves. You know, because of one sense, each entity, right? But in our case, all the 5 senses are very predominant. So just imagine what will be our status. You know, because of one sense which is very strong in each of these entities, they get attached to the sense object, and then they get into a lot of trouble, and then they get destroyed just because of one senses. But in our case, all our 5 senses, urge for hearing, urge for genitals, urge for seeing, urge for smell, urge for tongue, all these senses are very, 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 very strong. So when these are strong, then we fall down. What will be our situation? So that is why it is said, you know, we have to control these senses very much. Otherwise, it is not possible for us to even get into spirituality. So when we say we are in spiritual path or we are following spiritual path, the first and the foremost is control these senses. We cannot execute all of these senses without any control and at the same time follow spirituality. That is not possible. That is absolutely not possible. So we have to control our senses and then we have to follow the spiritual process. It goes both hand in hand. As we follow, our senses will automatically be controlled, right? So when you say that you are in spirituality, there are 5 basic things which actually affect you. So let me explain you that whenever we say we are in spirituality, right? So how do we measure that we are in spirituality or we are following the process as depicted by the scriptures, as told by our Guru Maharaj? So how do we know that we are following it right? What is the measuring agent for us, right? How do we measure intermittently? So I asked one of the devotees that, Prabhuji, how is your sadhana going? So Prabhuji said, yeah, it is fine, Prabhu, it is going on okay. I am balancing with my material life and then spiritual life. It is going on smooth, he said. So, but when I was very amateur in spirituality at the time when I came in the beginning of my spiritual practices, then I told the same thing to one of my seniors, and he said, there is nothing called smooth in spirituality. There is nothing called smooth. There is no stagnant line. Okay, in spirituality, when you practice, there is no stagnant line. If you say that my spirituality is okay, Prabhu, it's going on smooth, no, that means there is some problem with the way we follow the process. So spirituality always goes increasing. It never decreases. If it is decreasing, it is a fall down. If it is stagnant, that means you are not advancing. It has always, as your life goes, always it should increase. So that is a basic measuring activity or instrument. So how do we know that our spirituality or our sadhana, we are in the right path, or it is getting we are advancing spiritually? How do we know that? So there basically we can measure by these 5 different points. Introspective, you can be introspective and introspect with these 5 different points. First thing is your or our material desires or material interest will reduce automatically. That is the first point. This is called trishna. Have you heard of this word trishna? Not Krishna, trishna. Trishna means material interest. So this material interest will decrease or will reduce automatically as you go, right? And second thing would be interest towards Lord Krishna, to hear about Lord Krishna, or wherever there is a discussion, whoever arranges a satsang, let me go and attend. Whoever calls for a satsang or calls for a kirtan, let me go and attend, participate. So interest towards Lord will increase, right? So automatically the third point is, if you get interest towards the Lord, then our bhakti will increase. That means love for Krishna will increase. The more you hear about him, the more you talk about him, the more you discuss among the devotees, then automatically the bhakti will increase. So what happens when bhakti increases? What is the result of that? The fourth thing is that the heart will be cleansed. We also went through one of the slokas. If you remember, one of the slokas in satsangs, we heard that what happens when you hear Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita. Can anyone remember that?
Yeah, Prabhuji. As you told, the heart gets cleansed. Cheto darpanam arjanam bhava mahadvagani nirvapanam sreya kairo chandrika vitarnam vidya vadu jivanam. So, yeah, so like it is covered by the dust, like the mirror is like covered by the dust. Similarly, our heart is covered by the, like the material contaminations. So that will be removed only by, like hearing the Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita and chanting. So by chanting that the dust will remove. So similarly, our heart will be cleansed when we will chant and hear and chant.
Yes, that is correct. But one of the sloka, particularly what we learned is in one of the sessions, that when we hear, right, when we hear about Krishna every day, every minute, every second, we hear about Krishna, Krishna will enter through our ears. Pravishta Karnarandrena. This ear whole of, right, the whole is called Karnarandra. Okay, Karna means ears, Karnarandrena, Pravishta Karnarendrena, Swanam Bhavam Saroruham. And what happens? Krishna enters through our ears. And what does he do? He gets into our heart. Dunoti Samalam Krishna. Dunoti means cleaning. Right? Who does that? Krishna does that. You don't have to do anything. All that you have to do is hear about Krishna, talk about Krishna, discuss about Krishna, sing kirtans, glorify him, glorify devotees. That's it. Then pravishta karna randrena swanam bhavam saroruham dunoti samalam Krishna salilasya yatasharat. So this is in Bhagavatam, right? So here the cleansing of the heart will take place, right? This is the fourth point. And fifth point is that your relation, once our heart is cleansed, then we see everything in the eyes of scriptures. We see everything in the eyes of our Vaishnava relationship will increase, okay, with everybody, you know. So that is the best part of it, the Vaishnava relationship. Right now, we might be 3 different levels of Vaishnava relation: Kanishta Adhikari, Madhyama Adhikari, or Uttama Adhikari. So we'll get into the details of that, but at least this, following this process regularly, seriously, this will impact us, and we can measure our devotional advancement using these 5 things. Can anybody quickly summarize these 5 things? Ashok Prabhu.
Prabhuji, reducing material desire,
Yes.
and then interest towards hearing Lord, and your heart gets cleansed, and then your relationship, which is like having relationship with Vaishnava, increases. And I don't know, I think second and third got mixed up, Prabhuji. I thought it's 1 point, like you said, you'll get more interest to listen to Krishna, and then bhakti will increase.
Yes,
So
bhakti will be revealed. See, as Srila Prabhupada mentions that every entity in this world, in this entire universe, every entity is a devotee. By default, is a devotee, right? Even if you take the most abominable person on this earth, still he is a devotee by default. His bhakti is dormant, it's inside. Only thing is covered with all the material contamination, but by default he is a devotee. So this bhakti will be automatically revealed when we do this devotional processes, follow this, then bhakti will be automatically revealed. So that is the third point. Bhakti will be revealed, our heart will be cleansed, and then we'll have a very good relationship with Vaishnavas. Like Yudhishthira Maharaj. Yudhishthira Maharaj is called Ajata Shatru. That means he didn't have any enemy. Throughout his life, he didn't have any enemy, right? But we may say Duryodhana is his enemy, right? No, Duryodhana was considering Yudhishthira Maharaj as his enemy, but Yudhishthira was never considering anybody as his enemy. So he's called Ajata Shatru, right? So we see everyone on the same level. Okay, so these are the 5 impacts which will happen, or you can use these 5 points to measure your devotional advancement. So giving this background, so let us come to the second sloka of first chapter, right? Can anyone recite and we will repeat? Shivakumar Prabhu.
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Yes, Hare Krishna Prabhu, please.
So you want me to repeat the things, Prabhuji?
Yeah, you can recite the sloka, we will repeat. Chapter 1, second sloka, second verse.
1 minute. I'm just opening. Sanjaya Uvacha. Drishtva tu Pandavanikam. Vyodam Duryodhana tada. Acharyam Upasangamaya. Raja Vachanam Abraved. Translation. Sanjaya said,
Sanjaya said,
Sanjaya said,
O king,
O king,
Okay.
after looking over the army
After
looking over
After
the
looking
army
over the army
arranged in military formation
arranged in
arranged in
military
military
formation
formation
by the sons of Pandu,
by the
by the
sons of
sons of
Pandu,
Pandu,
King Duryodhana went
King Duryodhana
went
to his teacher and spoke to the following words.
went to his teacher and spoke the following words.
Following words.
So purport, anyone else? Brinda? Brinda, are you ready? So next time, please keep your Bhagavad Gita either book or online session open so that we can discuss.
Dhritarashtra was blind.
Prabhuji, can I read?
Dhritarashtra was blind from birth. Unfortunately, he was also bereft of spiritual vision. He knew very well that his sons were equally blind in the matter of religion, and he was sure that they could never reach an understanding with the Pandavas, who were all pious since birth. Still, he was doubtful about the influence of the place of pilgrimage, and Sanjaya could understand his motive in asking about the situation on the battlefield. Sanjaya wanted, therefore, to encourage the despondent king and thus assured him that his sons were not going to make any sort of compromise under the influence of the holy place. Sanjaya therefore informed the king that his son Duryodhana, after seeing the military force of the Pandavas, at once went to the commander-in-chief Dronacharya to inform him of the real position. Although Duryodhana is mentioned as the king, he still had to go to the commander on account of the seriousness of the situation. He was therefore quite fit to be a politician, but Duryodhana's diplomatic veneer could not disguise the fear he felt when he saw the military arrangement of the Pandavas.
So this is a very, very important shloka. As I said, this first chapter, right? Many people give a very less attention to this first chapter, but the entire crux of Bhagavad Gita lies in this first chapter, and especially the first shloka, second shloka. So if you really understand these shlokas, we can analyze each and every characters, those who come in this chapter, their consciousness, and how that is related to us, right, in our daily day-to-day life. So Krishna is the greatest psychologist, so he plays with all of these minds, all of these people's minds, right? So in this sloka, Sanjaya uvacha drishtva tu pandavanikam yudam duryodhanastada acharyam upasangamya raja vachanam abhravit. So Sanjaya said, O king, after looking over the army arranged in military formation by the sons of Pandu, King Duryodhana went to his teacher and spoke the following words. Right? So we all know Dhritarashtra is basically blind. He is blind materially and also spiritually he is blind. So this is exactly like how we are. We are also spiritually blind, and Bhagavad Gita starts with the discussion by this blind person. That means it is indicating, it is an implicit meaning that we are all blind and Bhagavad Gita is very much required for us. So Sanjaya here is acting like a spiritual master. He is acting like a guru. He is opening the eyes of Dhritarashtra. At the same time, he is opening the eyes of us also, giving so many details. So he starting first verse. We already discussed that Dhritarashtra is asking a question that Mamaka Pandavas Chaiva. What did my sons and Pandu sons do in the warfare? So Sanjay is answering here that he's like eye opener as I discussed. So he's telling Drushta means seeing. right? Drishtva means after seeing. Who is seeing that? Duryodhana. Duryodhana, he assembled, now he is assembled in the battlefield. Now he is trying to see the entire warfare, like warfield. He wants to see who has come and how this war, the phalanx is all arranged properly. So he wants to see that. So he says that Drishtva tu, after seeing Pandava Nikam, right? Pandava Anikam. Anikam means the Pandava, soldiers of Pandava. So if you remember that we read about this Akshoini Sena, right? So Pandavas are 7 Akshoini Senas, and Kauravas, how many were Kauravas?
Kauravas
11.
11.
11 Akshoini Senas, right? So there was a it is not like today's war. So today's war is like all this guerrilla war. Guerrilla war means that you hide and you shoot somebody, and or somebody is sleeping at the night, you just put some bombs and you destroy so much material destruction. Even those who are not involved in war, they'll get destroyed. These kind of wars right now, whatever wars are happening, so they are like this. But in those times, when Kurukshetra war or any other war, when it happens, there were some rules and regulations that everybody should follow. Now, it is not like just you enter and then you start fighting. No. So when you get to a war field, unless until the opposite person or opposite party is not ready, you can't even fight. Even if you have to fight, for example, if you are using your bow and arrow, or if you are using your club, right? The other party should also have the club or should have a bow and arrow ready. Not that, you just kept down the bow and arrow and then you just shoot arrows at it. No, there were lot of code and conduct to be followed during warfare. So similarly, when we say this Akshoini Sena, right? Pandavas had 7 Akshoini Senas and Kauravas had 11 Akshoini Senas. It is not that they all came on day one and they came into the Kurukshetra battlefield and they were fighting. No, it is not like that. So they were sending, out of these Akshoini Senas, they were sending part by part to go into the battlefield and fight. So once that batch is cleared and they die or whatever happens, then they get disabled or whatever, then a new batch will be sent. So that is how it used to happen. So when you say Akshoini Sena is huge. We know what it comprises of, right? We already discussed that. If somebody can recall what is an Akshoini Sena. Can anybody recall what is Akshoini Sena?
Yeah, Prabhuji. So chariot will be approx 22,000 chariots. That is 21,870 chariots, and same 21,870 elephants, and horses will be like almost horses will be
3 times.
3 times that of the.
And 5 times will be infantry soldiers. Yeah,
Yes.
soldiers.
Yeah. So the ratio is 1:1:3:5. So that is Akshoini Sena, right? The ratio always like this. And the smallest element of Akshoini Sena comprises of all these, whatever we discussed now. But the smallest batch, the smallest group in that Akshoini Sena is called Patti. They call Patti. So this Patti comprises of Eko Gajaha. Eko Gajaha. Gaja means, elephant, right? So it comprises of Eko Gajaha, Ratascha Ekaha. Ratascha means, Rata means chariot. So Eko Gajaha, 1 elephant, Ratascha Ekaha, one Rata, 1 chariot, Narapancha Padataya. Narapancha, Nara means humans, right? Pancha, 5. So there will be 5 foot warriors, Padataya. Narapancha Padataya, Trayastha Turaga Padai. Trayastha means 3 elephant. Turaga means elephant. Trayastha Turaga Padai, Patti iti abhidiyate. Patti iti abhidiyate. So the smallest element of that Akshoini Sena is This comprises of 1 elephant, 1 chariot, and 5 warriors, foot warriors, and 3 elephants. So this
So 3 horses or 3 elephants?
three horses, sorry, 3 horses, and then 5 warriors, and 1 elephant, and 1 chariot. So these 4. See, we used to say Chaturanga Sena, right? Do you remember? In Sanskrit, we used to say Chaturanga. See, this Chaturanga is 4 Angas. Angas means what? These 4 categories. One is Gaja, one is a horse, one is warrior, foot warriors, and then other one is chariot. These 4 Anga comprises 1 Chaturanga Sena. So that is how it goes, right? So why we are discussing about this is, this Duryodhan, when he sees the army, he is actually not seeing the entire Akshoini Sena. As I said, all the Akshoini Senas, they don't come all at a time and then fight, right? So he is seeing one part of Akshoini Sena called, what is that called? Anikini. Pandava Anikam. So this word Pandava Anikam, if you see dictionary word, basically it says soldiers, right? But how much is the soldiers he is seeing? That Pandava Anikam. Anikam means Anikini. Anikini is 1/10 of Akshoini, right? If you take the Akshoini, whatever Ram Prabhu described now, number of elephants, number of horses, number of foot soldiers. So Anikini is 1/10 of that Akshoini Sena. That means he is seeing 2,187 elephants, 2,187 chariots, 6,561 horses. So 10,909,350 foot soldiers. So he is seeing 1/10 of the Akshoini Senas. Just by seeing this, okay, just by seeing this, he gets very bewildered. Before that, he had so much confidence in himself that, okay, I have 11 Akshoini Senas, I have more strength on my side, I have Dronacharya, I have Bhishma Pitamaha, so all the acharyas I have on my side. So fighting this war is nothing, it's very easy. So Duryodhana had so much confidence. But once he saw this Pandava Anikam, that 1/10 of the Akshoini Senas, then he got bewildered. Now he's getting doubt. He's also getting doubt, and also he's getting fearful, right? Why fearful? Because the army is such nicely organized. He says, Pandava Vyudam Duryodhanastada. Vyudam means that it is very nicely organized, right? So there are many, even in warfare, there are many organizations, like in the troop, the soldiers, elephant, everybody can get organized in one way, say kind of a lotus form, that is called Padma view, right? In a circle, that is called Chakra view, right? So there are so many views, like Garbha view, so there are another view called Garbha view. So the formation, these are the battle formations. It is arranged in form of a Garbha. So there are many formations. So this is Pandava's army, which is Anikam, which is 1/10 of the Akshoini Sena. So they are very well organized. So by seeing this, Duryodhan is getting fearful. And at the same time, he started doubting his own people. Doubting is Dronacharya, doubting Bhishma Pitamaha. He already had a lot of doubt on Bhishma Pitamaha, because Bhishma Pitamaha is very, very close to Pandavas. So when Bhishma Pitamaha was taking care of these Pandavas, because Pandavas lost their father at the very young age, so these kids, when Pandavas were kids, they were playing on Bhishma Pitamaha, getting onto his shoulder like elephant, like horse, he was carrying them. They were playing with his beard. So all these things, Bhishma Pitamaha remembers. So he is very, very close to Pandavas. So on all these background, Duryodhan is getting fearful and also very doubtful on the Bhishma Pitamaha. So he that is why here he says that in the sloka, Vyudam Duryodhana Tada. Tada means at that time. At that time means what time? After seeing this Pandava Anikam very nicely arranged, organized, Duryodhan, he instead of going to Bhishma Pitama, Bhishma Pitama was the commander-in-chief, right? Normally he goes to commander-in-chief, right? First thing. Instead of going to Bhishma Pitama, he went to Dronacharya. So the reason given here is, see, Bhishma Pitamaha, as I said, is very compassionate to Pandavas. He never wanted the war to happen, right? He never wanted. So if in case Duryodhan would have gone to Bhishma Pitama still at that time, even in the battlefield, he might have tried to convince Duryodhan. Duryodhan, please think about it. Even now, it is not too late. No, don't fight. This is not a good warfare. It is not healthy. The place is very pious, and you are being adharmic. So all those things, Duryodhan will end up listening, and Duryodhan doesn't want that, right? So Duryodhan wants the war to happen. So that is why instead of going to Bhishma Pitamaha, he goes to Dronacharya. So Dronacharya is his guru, and he goes there. And not only he goes there, the Sanjaya is explaining very nicely. See, Sanjaya, beauty of Sanjaya is that Sanjaya can hear everything, unlike in our today's world. Now we do live telecast of any game, cricket, football. We being in United States, and then there is a game happening in India. So the commentator can hear, or we can hear commentary, or we can hear what one person is talking in the entire field of the sport, right? But Sanjaya had that vision, and he also had this hearing capability that he can hear everybody whoever talks in that battlefield, he can hear everyone in detail, right? Without any miss. In detail, he can hear. And also their expression, their consciousness, Sanjaya can read very easily. So he had that vision. So when Duryodhan, he preferred to go to his teacher, right? He didn't go with humility. He didn't go with humility. Normally, when you go to your Guru Maharaj or any higher authority, even though we are like maybe CEO or maybe manager, big industrialist or investor, anybody in the material world, we may have big position. But when we see our Guru Maharaj, when we see our spiritual master, even though if we are in the street, it is recommended that we have to bow down completely, Shastanga Namaskar. We have to bow down in front of Guru Maharaj without any hesitation. Unfortunately, we think that, oh, I have a nice cloth, I'm wearing a good coat and a costly coat, why should I bow down and then make my coat and clothes dirty? Right? That is our consciousness. No. So whenever we see our Guru Maharaj, just bow down completely, Shastanga Namaskara. Even in public, doesn't matter. So that is the respect, that is the humility we should have. But Raja here, Duryodhan is going to Dronacharya, and he is not going with humility. Even though externally he is acting like, I am your student. I'm having so much humility. He's acting drama. He's doing some drama there. But internally, Duryodhan does not have any respect to Dronacharya. Even he knows that Dronacharya is not completely in favor of this war, or completely wants to annihilate the Pandavas. So he had that duplicitous, right? So here it is referred that the third he says Acharyam Upasangamya. He is approaching Acharya. Acharya is here Dronacharya is approaching Acharya, and Sanjaya is saying, is referring Duryodhan as Raja Vachanam Abravit. Is referring Duryodhan as Raja, right? So Sanjaya can read even Duryodhana's consciousness, right? Even though Duryodhan at this point of the time is not Raja, he is not Raja, right? He is trying to be Raja, but he says that he refers Duryodhana to Raja because he had that diplomatic characteristics. That means he was so diplomatic. Now he's going to his Guru Maharaj, he's going to his Dronacharya with so diplomatic mind. That means he's saying that he had that Raja qualities. That is why he is referring to Raja. He is not saying Duryodhana Vachanam Abravit. He says Raja Vachanam Abravit. He is talking to Dronacharya like a king, not like a student. So this is again, this is only taught how to behave, and all these things are only taught for these Kshatriyas, how to behave like a king. Um, so the consciousness also, here it is revealed. So we also have this duplicitous consciousness, right? When you see our Guru Maharaj, we talk one thing and inside we do different things. So whatever our Guru Maharaj or any spiritual master recommends you to do something, we just say yes, 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 we'll do, and we don't finally. So those who are having spiritual masters here, those are initiated. So it reflects our consciousness actually, because we have taken so many vows in front of a Guru Maharaj that we'll do this, and also special instructions we would have got from our spiritual masters. So we have to follow it very seriously. We cannot be like Duryodhan. We cannot have a duplicitous or diplomatic consciousness here, right? So that is what here completely explained in this second sloka, Raja Vachanam Abravit. So he will speak the words going forward. He'll speak some words which is not favorable words. Okay, that we will discuss in the third sloka. So this sloka, that is the gist of the whole second sloka. दृष्ट्वा तु पाण्डवानीकं व्यूढं दुर्योधनस्तदा आचार्यम् उपसंगम्य राजा वचनम् अब्रवीत्. So, O king, after looking over the army arranged in military formation by the sons of Pandu, King Duryodhana went to his teacher and spoke the following words. So we will see what he speaks. We will see in the next class. It's already 8 o'clock. So I would like to end here and see if there are any questions, comments, criticism, positive criticism, then complaints, concerns, please.
Prabhu, I would like to share some small points, Prabhu.
Yes.
My realization on this sloga, if a disciple not respect the Guru, it is clearly showing that that result is negative. Right. Because Duryodhana never respect the teacher. So in the spiritual way, in the spiritual aspect, Guru should always be top. The material, student and Guru may be at same level. Student can pass, even student can criticize teacher, but material world, material activities, student can pass. But if you come to spiritual level, the Guru is always in the top. If anybody disrespect the Guru abroad and never ever succeed. So that's what this sloga is clearly mentioned that. That's what my understanding, Prabhu.
Wonderful, Prabhu. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. So, Prabhuji, in the last lecture also, I missed one question related to, in this one also Sanjaya is saying, right? So Sanjaya, I was wondering, whether the Sanjaya, when he started telling that these all things to Dhritarashtra. So was it exactly when the war started, the same time exactly he was narrating to Dhritarashtra, or somewhere in that reference I saw on the online that Sanjaya started telling on 10th day, 10th day of the war, when Bhishma lie down on the deathbed of the arrow bed. So then, in fact, somewhere it is also mentioned like Sanjaya was also involved in the war. He went to the war when Bhishma Dev was fall down. So then he returned, and then he started telling to Dhritarashtra from the beginning. I mean, so on 10th day he started telling what happened from the first day. So please clarify, Prabhuji.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhu. That's a wonderful question. Actually, there is some material on the internet. First thing I would like to tell Prabhu, internet is not the basis for our authoritative discussions. Like, in the sense that internet, 1,000 people write 1,000 things. Okay, first thing I would like to confirm that internet is not the source. So that is why Srila Prabhupada's books, Srila Prabhupada's, the parampara which comes from Srila Prabhupada, we have to refer to our seniors. So at the same time, even though some of the senior most people, they have written many books, so we refer to many books, and some of the books they have written, they're all authentic, no doubt about it. So we have to refer, because they refer back to Srila Prabhupada. So this discussion, what you are saying, has come up in one of the references in one of those books, right? So there is always there are three errors when you write a book, right? One is unintentional error. Okay, we don't want to write error, but you write those, you realize that later. That is why we keep the section called errata. If you remember, in any book, there is a section in a release. Suppose say there is a release of this book, there is a section called errata. Errata means these are the corrections or edits to be made. Okay, so there is unintentional errors, there is an intentional error, unintentional edits or deletes or inserts. Okay, so these things happen when we write a book. So wherever you have heard, if it is really authentic, or if it is from a real source or from ISKCON source, then that might be by mistake. Okay, it's not the authentic what Srila Prabhupada has mentioned. So that might be a mistake. So you have to check the latest editions of those books, right? If you are referring to a book which are very old, maybe there is a mistake there. But if you check the same book with the latest editions and see if that mistake has been rectified or not, because Sanjaya here it is, he very well confirms, even in the 18th chapter, he says that because of this, the special vision I got by Srila Vyasadeva, my spiritual master, I was able to view the entire Kurukshetra. So he tells in 18th chapter also at the end. So when he's telling that, it doesn't make any sense for him to speak Bhagavad Gita on the 10th day and then tell the old story of the Dhritarashtra, because Dhritarashtra is so anxious not to know every detail of the war. He can't wait for 10 days, right? If Sanjaya is not available there, he could have asked somebody else, but he cannot wait for 10 days until Sanjaya comes back from the war and then explains everything to Dhritarashtra. That doesn't make any sense. It's inappropriate, right? So this is a live telecast going on the first day of the war, right? Before the war, Bhagavad Gita was spoken for 48 minutes by Krishna to Arjuna. So that narration is described to Dhritarashtra by Sanjaya as is, no edits, no concoction. It was described as is on the day, first day of Kurukshetra war.
Got it, Prabhuji. Thank you for clarifying, Prabhuji. So, I mean, lots of things were involving. That's what kind of, since it was written by one of the very senior, as you already told, like to check with the, like latest edition. So yeah, definitely I will go through that. And you also pointed like what Dhritarashtra cannot, he was very impatient, so he cannot wait for that. Same time in the Prabhupada Maharaj also mentioned in the translation, what did he do? That was also pointing me to think about that, and so that's what. So it got clarified, Prabhuji. So I will check on that, and since it was commented by Bhurijana Prabhu, so he is the disciple of Prabhupada Maharaj, and he involved in so many books, and he has in fact written Mahabharat book as well, Mahabharat Puran as well. So that was the intention to us. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for clarifying this. Maybe the same like book. If somebody also referring from the internet, and so they can also get confusion. So it will be good for them also, if somebody came into contact of such that book, so that will help to the other devotee. Yeah.
Yes, so what I would recommend here is that, so as I said, there might be some unintentional errors, but you have to refer to the latest edition of Purijana Prabhu itself. So you please refer to whatever book you're referring, refer to the latest version and then see if that is still there, right? I highly doubt, because I have seen that book, but I have never seen that passage. That passage has been deleted. Okay.
Right, Prabhuji. Sure, Prabhuji. Thank you for clarifying.
Thank you, Prabhu, for asking that question. So anyone else?
Prabhuji, in the purport, I know you explained that King Duryodhana, like he's not yet become king, but Sanjay is so diplomatic. That's why he said, as if he's a king, not as a humble. So I got the meaning, but then it should have been written like as a king, not as King Duryodhana. You don't tell someone as King Duryodhana when he didn't become a king, right?
Yeah.
No
So that is correct. So here what Sanjaya knows the consciousness of Dhritarashtra. At the same time, Sanjaya knows the consciousness of Duryodhan. So Sanjaya had this vision. So Dhritarashtra always wanted his son Duryodhan to become king, right? So he was always expecting, what is happening next. He was so anxious. What is happening next? What did my son do? What did my son do? Right? So he was always expecting. So to give some solace to Dhritarashtra, to give some solace to Dhritarashtra, he says that your son, that means Sanjaya uses this word, Raja. So he referred to Duryodhan. Then Dhritarashtra will become little pacified. Oh, my son is like a king. He's acting like a king. So that is just to give some solace to Dhritarashtra. That is another view of looking at it. Got it?
Okay.
Anyone else?
Okay, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Mata, you
My question is why these versions, like as you told Bhurijana Prabhu's latest version we should follow. So why these versions are contradicting to each other?
It's not contradicting, Mataji. As I said, they are very authentic. Purijana Prabhu, if you refer specifically referring to him, then is a very, very senior most disciple of Srila Prabhupada. So all his books are very authentic. But as I said, any writer has these three tendencies, that unintentional errors are there. Okay, so then unintentional deletions and additions are there. Then some writers have intentional errors or change the meaning itself, whole thing. So those things happen. It is not intentional. Okay, so but those same authors, they refer back, then they refer back, and then they'll do some edits, and then they'll release a new version. Right? That's how the book publishing is also. So even if you take the initial version of Bhagavad Gita, right? So initially in 1968, when Srila Prabhupada's book was printed, right? So that book, actually the original version had 1,000 pages, right? When the book was taken to Macmillan, right? The Macmillan was the first publisher. So the book was taken to Macmillan. Then they said, no, we cannot publish this big book. It has 1,000 pages. So cut down this 1,000 into 400 pages. So the editor at that time, he did so much. It was so difficult. He explains that it was so difficult to take away all Srila Prabhupada's, everything Srila Prabhupada what mentioned in his books were gems. It's very difficult to take those gems out, to condense that 1,000 pages into 400 pages, right? So then the 400 pages Bhagavad Gita was released. Then after like four years, 1972, when the books were selling like hotcakes. Enough books were sold here. Everybody was buying books. Then Macmillan realized that these has to be put back. So then the Miracle at Macmillan. So there is another book called Miracle at Macmillan. So this is written by Srila Prabhupada disciple. So in that 1972 release, all that edited, whatever it was edited before, it's 68, right? When 400 pages book was released, all those which were edited at the time, it was put back. It was put back, and then book became again 1000 pages in 1972. That's the original version. So this is the original version of Macmillan book, Bhagavad Gita. Okay. So what this is the original version edition. So this is the big book. So what I mean to say is that so there will be some edits, not really changing the meaning of it, because for a valid reason. So in this case, Purijana Prabhu's latest edition, if you see that the whole passage, whatever Ram Prabhu is mentioning, that is deleted. That is not there. So that means that it didn't happen on the 10th day. So it is not misinterpreted. Now it is a clear vision that it was started on day 1.
Okay, thank you, Prabhuji. Yeah,
Yes,
understood.
Prabhuji. So this same, same clarifications and this question is also among the senior devotees as well. Some of the senior devotees say like the 10th day started, and some of like, so as I have confusion and doubt, similar kind of confusion and doubt, those who are senior to me and from them I am hearing. So they are also saying like somewhere like, yeah, it is like that. So maybe they those senior devotees are also referred that old version. So that creates confusion probably. Yeah. So maybe this had to be widely somewhere. It should be not published on the SCON Desire or somewhere. Like latest saying that this, because this is the key thing. Like the Bhagavad Gita 1.1, and there from it starts, and there is only this comes, and that is too by so exalted author Bhurijana Prabhu, who accompanied with Prabhupada Ji Maharaj most of the books, and he written, I see on the, Vedavyas.io, so many his books are there, and not only that, so many big books he's having. So if someone writes so many of things, and so that's what again. So among the devotee itself, it is having confusion, and that requires clarification. Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Yes, sure, Prabhu. So you can refer back, as I said, but at the same time, the highest authority in our ISKCON is our Srila Prabhupada, and Srila Prabhupada never mentioned this anywhere, whether it is first day or the 10th day, he never mentioned. So basically, why he didn't mention is, even if you see His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj, he doesn't get into details of this, because these details are not going to help. So ultimately, our aim is, when we read Bhagavad Gita, right, even though here and there small things when it comes to the details, but when we read Bhagavad Gita, is it transforming my heart? First thing, is it transforming my heart, right? And these 5 points we just discussed, are these 5 points, are these getting affected? So that is what we have to see. Even if word here and there, word jugglery or whatever it is, so that should be our motto. Our motto should be, Bhagavad Gita means our transformation. Our transformation in our everyday, day-to-day life activities. Is it happening or not? Okay. Instead of getting into the details, of course, detail is necessary, but if it is taking too much of time, the details, I would say you should take away the details, and gist of the Bhagavad Gita, you should take it. And gist of the Bhagavad Gita, 99.9% in our ISKCON, they give all that gist, right? So we should stick to that gist rather than getting into the details, even though if there is some mistake. Because when many people write many things, right? And then if you start analyzing all our Srila Prabhupada disciples' books and everything, it will take so much time. So rather, Srila Prabhupada has given this Bhagavad Gita as it is book. So in this, In fact, in this, it is never mentioned whether it is first day or 10th day. Entire Bhagavad Gita, 700 slokas, nowhere it is mentioned.
Right.
So it is good for us actually, so that not to get any discrepancies or confusions. It is good.
Right.
We just have to go through this and then see if it is applying by this principle, Bhagavad Gita principles in our life. Is there any transformation in our heart? Okay, that is main important. That is the main focus of Bhagavad Gita reading.
Yeah. Thank you so much for putting so much of light, Prabhuji, and clarifying this. And yeah, I believe to me it is clear. And so far I had impression like yeah. So I was in Delhi sometime, and 2 weeks back, 1 week back, then I inquired here and there, 3-4 places to senior devotee also. So here and there I came to know like, yeah, like it started 10th day and something like that. So then I switched my mind saying that, oh, it was like 10th day. So earlier I had simple like what Prabhupada Maharaj mentioned in the translation and purport for the first 1.1. So similar kind of, and whatever before coming to the ISKCON also, whatever I had heard like the same way, it was live telecast. We say like in the mundane people also talk like in the other places also. So same thing, but again the confusion. So thank you so much for putting light and clarifying this, and giving reference for the the latest edition is edited from that, and that is the passage is eliminated from there. So thanks a lot, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. So anyone else has any questions, comments?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. I want to tell about today's class. Like I learned how we can measure our bhakti, whether it is increasing or not. So these 5 points, I really like this. So thank you for that. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you. So the whole purpose is at the end of the session, we have to take home something, and we have to take home and apply that in our life, so that when we come to next week or a week after, whatever, whenever we have this, so there is a difference between this week and next week. So we have applied something, and then we'll see the change. So that is how our spiritual, that is why I said the spirituality is never a stagnant. Oh, I'm chanting 16 rounds, I'm reading book, that's it, my stagnant line. No, spirituality is never a stagnant line. Spirituality is always increasing, so it never decreases, or it never stays stagnant. Okay.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
So if no one has anything, then
Prabhuji, just I wanted to, since you quoted Kuranga Matanga Patanga Vringa Minga Mina, so is there reference for that, Prabhuji?
I can let you know, Prabhu, because I heard this from somebody else. I can let you know. Somebody speaking, but anyway, so I'll let you know, Prabhu, by next session. I will let you know. This is very important. So I picked up somebody in one of their lectures. I heard from them.
Yeah, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, also the first shloka you referred, Yadhi Tat Mad Bhakta, like what Krishna said. That's from Bhagavad Gita, Prabhuji, or any other reference?
No, that is from Varaha Purana. Yadi vatari doshena madbhakta mam na chasmared aham smarami madbhakta nayami paramagatim. That is from Varaha Purana.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu. Are we done? Okay.
And what about this one, Prabhuji?
Yes.
Pravishta Karanendriya. So I am not noted. I wanted to. Can you please complete this one, Prabhuji? Just for
Pravishta Karna Randrena Swanam Bhavam Saroruham Dunoti Samalam Krishna Salilasya Yata Sharat. This is from Bhagavatam, Prabhu.
Okay.
Srimad Bhagavatam. So he says that Saujanya Mataji knows this shloka, right?
Which one, Prabhuji?
Shrunata Shraddhaya Nitya.
Oh, yes, Prabhuji.
Okay.
Srimad.
So it starts with this shloka, Prabhu. Shrunvata Shraddhaya Nitya Granatascha Swatyestita Kalena Nati Dirgena. Then, Mataji?
Prabhuji, I remember the meaning, but not
Okay,
the shloka. Sorry, Prabhuji.
Okay, Prabhuji, I will search it out, Prabhuji. If
Yeah,
not, I will ask
this is
him
from
next class.
Bhagavatam, Prabhu, these two.
Yeah. If not, Prabhuji, I will ask him in the next class. And really, this as Nirmala quoted said already, Prabhuji, it's a very, very wonderful. I mean, to measure the devotional advancement, the basic instrument for the measuring the devotional advancement, how we can do that. So first is the material desire will decrease and increase towards the Lord. Increase towards the Lord. Interest towards the Lord will increase, and bhakti will be revealed, and the heart will be cleansed, and then Vaishnava relationship with Vaishnava will be increased. So yeah, so these five are. So when we feel ourselves, when we realize ourselves, these five things are happening, or any of the one means out of the five are happening, that means we are progressing.
Yes, so, that is very true. So this is you have to introspect yourself every week. Okay. So thank you very much, Prabhu. We will end here. It's already 8:20. So I offer my humble obeisances to all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord, who are just like the desires who can fulfill all desires and are full of compassion to the fallen conditioned souls.
Panchapatitanam Vaishnavebhyo
Namo Namah.
Anantapati Vaishnava Vrindaki.
Jai.
Samaveta Bhakta Vrindaki. Gaur Premanandi. Hari Hari.
Hari Bol.
Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Thank you so much
Thank
for
you, Prabhuji.
wonderful lecture, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.